Hey guys, it's Grant Cuning. This will be the last Sethian video for, well, until the beta, I guess. Um, Sorry for the delay. I've just had so much going on in this sort of home stretch period. Way more than I can handle, talking to people, working things out, finances, planning, uh, research on social media. Just like all this weird stuff that I'm not good at. I just want to make my game. And I'm actually kind of excited for when the Kickstarter ends. I'm hoping things will die down and I'll be able to just get back into my code and try to make the best game I can. Right now I'm just I'm completely exhausted. I can barely deal with it all. We are funded now, though. Thank you, everyone. You've all been very generous. I'm really glad you want to play my game. Hopefully, in the last couple of hours here, we'll make our last stretch goal. We'll see. Um, what was the other thing I was? This is I'm sorry. Earlier, I was saying that this would be like a longer video, but I think this is actually going to be a shorter video. I've had to play around a lot with this last stretch of gameplay that I was going to show, and I kept thinking I needed more, but in the end I decided that I really need less. I need to trim the fat. And of course, anyway, this is just really just a demonstration of an alpha build. The real tutorial, as it will appear in the release version of the game, that'll be probably very different because I'll have a lot of experience with playtesting and seeing what works for people and all this, and I'll know what people actually need to learn how to play this game. It's all just a concept, really. But let's get back into it. This is where we left off. We can see we have because, that's the right triangle, you, no, and then the first place, remember we know two places. This is the first one we heard. That's this is where we are. And then person. So let's open up the journal and learn a little bit about this response. Okay, so I'm not on the right page. Here we go. Okay, so I'll read through this. Apparently, it is because I am not of the former place, which is parallelogram angle. This is why we will die, by the way, if we'll go to the place where we're not, of the two places we know. Just catching you up, right? The construction in which person is added as a suffix to the name of a place is used to form demonyms in DTC. For example, if we were to take the name Telusia by adding person to the end, we could get a new word, Telusian. In light of this, however, it seems that the first name I encountered is not the name of this building as I had hoped, but more likely it is the name of this colony, or perhaps the planet as a whole. Abroad, we call both places Sethian, but perhaps the locals use different terms for each. Of course, it is possible that the term refers to something else, such as a district or a region, and I suppose I cannot completely rule out the possibility of it being this building, although it seems unlikely. A thought occurs to me, though. Does the person suffix in this case refer to people born here, or simply citizens or residents? If the latter, can I become a local somehow? I imagine this would not only make me safer, but allow me access to much more information than I would have otherwise. And of course, as any traveler understands, to know a people, you must respect their ways and assimilate to them. I believe I'll try this question. Okay, and we have new vocabulary here. The parallelogram means possible, or I guess maybe more like can or may. And this little black box, that's become. Okay. There's something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah, adding person to the end of places is also how you form demonyms in Chinese. So that's pulled right out of there. So this means, can I become a Sethianese person? I'm speculating, of course, that this place name is indeed Sethian, so we're still not sure about that. We're just guessing. Okay, so we're going to ask if we can become Sethianese. Let's try it. So we remember to form yes or no questions. We start with the angle and then the colon. Then I, possible, become, and then the name of the place, and then person. Just like that. Let's ask that. And then we have the parallel lines, which we may remember means yes. So let's see. To my surprise, the answer seems to be yes. In hindsight, I suppose that makes sense. Colonies tend to have relatively liberal notions of citizen identity. Side note, I don't know if this is boring, but if you look at a map of which countries in the world have citizenship on birth, laws about that, it's almost entirely countries in the Americas, and all the old world countries don't have that. I just think that's interesting. I would like to ask how one becomes Sethianese, but I actually don't know how to ask how. I believe that, as before, I will have to attempt to push the computer in the right direction by declaring my intentions. And this, we could actually probably do this on our own. We don't need hand-holding. But, it's nice to have. So we're going to say, I want to become a Sethianese. Hopefully this will be a step in the right direction. So, I think we kind of know all this, although we just learned become. Let's try this. I want bar. No, let's go. Become a Sethianese person. Okay, let's try this. I think this is the longest thing we've seen so far. It's also the last we're going to say. I'm going to call it off here. I can translate this for you. This is telling us we have a lot to learn, and to start, we want to learn about this thing. Okay, so we have a new proper noun, and this is actually our first one that is not a place. This is a person. We're going to learn about this person later, once I start beta testing with you all. And this is sort of how it's going to go. At this point, the game's dictionary will unlock, and you'll sort of be left to your own devices. You won't have a journal update every time you say something new. But by now, you know a lot of things, right? The first thing, of course, you would do is probably ask, what is this, right? And you know how to do that, right? And you can hopefully do a lot from there. I guess I'll need a lot of play testing to figure out exactly how it would go. But there's the concept laid out for you on the table. Hopefully you don't feel like this was too hard. Hopefully you feel like, if you had this game in front of you, you could learn what the game expects of you. I think that's about it. A few things. No, I can't remember what I was going to say at the end of this video, sorry. And I'll write it down later, so it's no big deal. Anyway, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and thanks for watching. Let's try to reach our last stretch goal.